Hi guys, welcome back. This is episode 9, I guess. This is a restarting from where Titanium Man taunted us in the last level, just because this is where the save thing restarts you. And this boss fight can be really frustrating at times. So what you're doing is you're fighting on a stage here, because this is where the big Captain America rally was supposed to take place here at the Lincoln Memorial, and we still have our X-Men team. And this is a place where I got killed a lot, because you've got Titanium Man running around the middle, but he's going to teleport away, and he's going to be in stealth every now and then. I'm trying to heal folks. And so you have to use his projectiles to detect where he is in order to hit them, hit him. He's got a bunch of health, and he hits a ton. And at the end of every once he's taken enough damage, you'll find that he'll bring in reinforcements in the form of either mooks or some invisible turret guns that well, not invisible turret guns, but kind of floating turret guns that we're going to run across here in a bit. So it's just a matter of making sure you don't get in his path wherever he's shooting from. And the reason for me being Jean Grey here is purely just to get a little bit of extra power into that assault. Okay. So now we've entered the phase of the fight where he started adding little miniguns around the arena. Now they are perfectly attackable and they will blow up, but he will create more of them as the fight goes on. And again, you don't want to be stuck taking being hit, and you want to constantly be able to heal, so looking for opportunities for fusion attacks when you get them is going to be important here. I'm trying to use Wolverine a little bit as a shield in order to not worry about getting hit as much. Okay, so we've got a fusion attack charged here, but we need to figure out where he is. Up, and that's where he is, and the little slowdown rings. Right, so we'll throw Wolverine into him, grab another thing of health, and hopefully we just not any good at dodging these little slowdown rings. But when he fires the projectiles in front of him, he is completely vulnerable from behind. You can see I've been trying to sort of get back behind there each time in order to make this work. Alright, we've got more minigun turrets. And while we're dunking around here, just a little bit of a reminder from last episode. We fought Deadpool in a boss battle, and we didn't really talk about that fight all that much. Deadpool's voiced by John Kassir in this game. We talked about him obliquely without mentioning his name last episode, but I just want to make sure that I did go back and look that up.
Can I get some help?
And now we're in a, you can see we're in a wave of mooks. And there he is. He's still there. And hopefully we can get him before he gets away. I'm not sure how much damage that did. We did get credit for hitting him, so we did get the health thing. Team breakdown here. You've got Jean Grey, Storm, Iceman, and Wolverine. As we enter the next phase of the fight. And primarily granted we were running around with this team most of last phase, and most of these characters I would, qualify as kind of distance characters. Wolverine being the only real stand-up fighter in this group, and the point is I don't want everybody getting close to Titanium Man and getting hit at once, but I'd rather have characters who would attack him from far away. This is not, it's not really how I prefer to do things, and even with the way things are, you can see Iceman and Storm are almost out of health, and we haven't been those characters, but we did get him. Hey, we managed to do it without having to bring anybody back from the dead, so we got a reward for this.
And so, to answer your question, Mr. Senator, in spite of these recent events, I don't believe forcing superheroes to register with the government is the answer. This law would split the hero community right down the middle, with consequences I'm not sure any of us want to ponder.
Hey, Mr. Stark! Mr. Stark!
Was that really your best shot?
Sneaking around doesn't become you, Steve.
Maybe I'll need the practice. Maybe we all will.
Don't be so melodramatic. This whole thing would affect you least of all. You're already deputized.
You almost sound like you agree with them. This Registration Act would tear down everything we've done, destroy a century-old tradition of...
I'm trying to save it, Steve. As much of it as I can, anyway. Don't you see where this is headed? All it's going to take is one more slip-up by anyone in a cape, and we'll be lucky if registration is the worst they do. They could just turn us all into criminals, hunt us all down.
No, they won't, Tony. Not in my country.
So this gives you an idea of the stakes, and also gives you the idea of where Iron Man and Captain America will fall in the conflict, and the point to which things have been pushed, from the Bombardus attack, Titanium Man's attack on Washington. And now we're going to throw reality TV into the mix. So the new warriors blowing up a large part of Stamford, Connecticut, including a school. In fact, the school is pretty much right where Nitro exploded. Because that's all Nitro really does, is explode. And there you go. So the law is in effect.
You're asking me to arrest people who risk their lives for this country every day.
No, I'm ordering you to obey the will of the American people, Captain. Either you help us bring them in, or we'll bring you in.
Weapons down, gentlemen. Or I...
Trank darts, now! Take him down! Take him down!
And they're going to tranquilize Captain America. I'm not really sure that's the best option.
Keep us moving, son, if you want to stay conscious.
And I'm not sure that
We're trying to save lives.
the pilot on that plane
Of all the people to go underground,
is handling this the right way either.
Now every superhero who disagrees with the act
You know,
is suddenly
and
a leader.
one thing about this scene is it reminds me how much I prefer the way that they do Cap's costume in the MCU. The Iron Man costume that they use doesn't look like it's too far off from what the MCU Iron Man looks like. But, you know, I am glad that they didn't really do the actual wings on Cap's helmet.
You believe this is really going down?
Except for, you know, the
Shield's gonna be resilient
the
than that.
the bond drive in the Captain America First Avenger movie.
But he's too busy arguing with Mr. Fantastic over there. Maybe you can break into their little powwow and get some sense out of him.
So now we have to decide who we're going to side with. And we get to talk to everybody about it. But again, okay, so meet Eddie Brock. Actually, meet Mac Gargan looking like Eddie Brock.
The numbers, and we absolutely can't rebel against the government on this.
So which way is Venom going to go in the Superhero Registration Act?
You're exaggerating. This is a temporary measure. Once things settle down,
I ain't buying it, Reed. And I can't believe somebody as brainy as you would.
oh, hello. Good timing. Perhaps you can talk some sense into Mr. Cage here. He and Iron Fist seem determined
yes.
to get arrested.
He's the one who
Maybe
needs to
Venom
protect
can talk some sense into Luke Cage. That sounds like a good idea. And Venom's friends like Hulk and Thor and Carol Danvers, you know, all of Venom's rowdy friends.
Hey,
All right, we're gonna go talk to people as Venom.
For now, yeah, it is. Stamford would never have happened if superheroes had proper oversight.
Of course, we're not really gonna change anything.
Trust them with the cops and the military. Bottom line,
We're still gonna be using the defensive responses
are gonna get killed.
in order to unlock the defensive medallions.
No one's got a better reason to be paranoid than I do. And I'm telling you, this is the way it's gotta go. Let's not start playing what
I'm not a big fan
All we
of
can do now is try to make sure it doesn't
the way the alternate Venom skin looks. Just because the eyes look a bit stretched, it doesn't look quite right.
signing up for
The face looks a little bit smashed in, but again, the character model is supposed to be the Mac Gargan Venom from the mid-2000s. And we've just kind of stretched the
and
Eddie
so,
Brock
worst case scenario,
look
find
over
ourselves
it.
in the equivalent of a superpowered civil war.
Heroes so busy fighting each other.
So we talked to
they
Bishop.
forget a
We
friend
know
has.
Exactly.
Bishop
That's where you and the
leaning
Thunderbolts become
pro-reg
members.
at this
We
point.
need you to help S.H.I.E.L.D. keep crime under control while we focus on... Oh, hello again. I'm glad to see you're not going off half-cocked like Luke, Danny, and Eli over there seem to be. We need cooler heads to
Now,
prevail
if you
in a
were
time like this.
Johnny Storm or Sue Storm, you get special dialogue here.
There's morality and there's practicality. I may have personal issues with the act, but I also have hard evidence that if we rebel against it, the entire world's future will be imperiled. So, there's really only one sane choice here.
And if you were, if this was your first playthrough, Venom would not be unlocked. So
I'd recommend you very carefully consider
there we go.
the
Getting Venom to say
consequences of
sanity
this
is relative.
decision.
That's good.
I'm not sure that's been determined. Incarceration, most likely. Those who violently resist might accidentally be harmed.
New York Senator Lieber decried the recent passage of the Registration Act.
I'm not in charge of that, of course, but that's what I'm hearing. Not a pleasant thought. I wish I could spend more time with you, but unfortunately, there's a lot to do. Talk to you soon.
So you know, Reed and Bishop are pro-registration. Songbird is going to be pro-reg.
Are you sure
That was
you
her
wanna
up
get
there
us the cap
talking.
without leading them right to him?
Got it covered. You just stick with me.
And now we're going to go talk to
They're gonna have to make their own choice.
the guys who would be the new Avengers
Obviously a lost cause. But maybe
under one of the versions of that team, except for
made up your minds yet?
Patriot over here on the left, who's a member of the Young Avengers.
Time to sit on the fence. I ain't no government puppet, and I assume you feel the same way. There are worse things you could do than risk jail time to do the right thing.
Yes, I would assume Venom is not a government puppet, but you know, it's
If you're
just a...
scared, feel free to do what you're told. Just don't call yourself a hero anymore.
Basically, in these dialogue options, your character is just kind of skeptical of both sides.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. You're either with us or against us. Okay, look, I hope you make the right choice.
You're either with us or against us. Bringing up that famous Obi-Wan line, only Sith speak in absolutes. And, of course, it didn't really make sense when he said that either, although you kind of understand what he was going for. Alright, who else can talk to... Oh, forget it. Let's just call him Eddie Brock, because I don't really have any... I don't really have any love for Mac the Gargan. At this point, the Tom Hardy Venom movie is, I guess, the signature appearance of that character on screen. Aha! So we get to choose what we want to do, but we have to go meet with Maria Hill in order to do that. So the last thing we're going to do this episode is decide where we're going to fit in this war on this playthrough. And so all I know is that we're going to have a very strong team to fight our way out of this room if that's what we decide to do. Given we've got the Hulk, Thor, Carol Danvers, and Venom.
The paperwork is right here. Step up and sign, please.
I've never seen Venom sign anything.
With Stark tech and S.H.I.E.L.D. muscle backing you up, count on it. So, what's it going to be here?
I mean, obviously Eddie Brock used to use pencils and pens, but...
law enforcement agents. You're not looking to start trouble, are you?
So I guess maybe the symbiote would just recede if that's what we were going to do. Alright, so we switched to Hulk. Because the Hulk has a ridiculous sort of earthquake power. So you saw that I was able to take those two guys out pretty much without any problem, and they were shielded. In fact, this is kind of the way to do things with once you unlock the Hulk, this is kind of the way to get out of doing certain things and getting through enemies quickly. Is using the Hulk's special power. The only problem with the Hulk is that, for whatever reason, his defense is not very good. He is not particularly durable.
Hulk not puny human. Boss lady will be sorry she made Hulk mad.
Ah. Darn. Okay, so... Sorry, you missed the opportunity to...
He'll bounce back from this. Songbird will be fine, too. You made the right choice. I knew you would. Now let's get the hell out of here before we got more of these lackeys to deal with.
So we're going anti-reg. So we're going to join Captain America out in the wilds of wherever he is. And we're going to fight the Registration Act, along with a bunch of other people. We're going to have Luke Cage, and Iron Fist, and Cable, and Hercules, and Spider-Woman's back there. And a bunch of renegade S.H.I.E.L.D. operatives, because that's evidently a thing.
Stark and S.H.I.E.L.D. have advanced technology and almost unlimited resources at their disposal.
And I don't know if it was a thing in the actual comic books. I imagine it probably wasn't. But they exist in the purposes of this game because the other side needs to have mooks to fight. So we're going to be joining Cap and trying to get the Superhuman Registration Act repealed. We're going to be based in old Hydra bases. Around the country?